Good evening and welcome to Options Center. We're going to take a look from the top down on ES on multiple time frames, headed down to the 65-minute chart. We're going to keep this as a basic update, seeing how we may be in a distribution phase, but I do suspect that we possibly have one more high, but I'm not so sure that that high is going to be on the QQQ or NASDAQ. Even though the we'll show you in the smaller time frames. But if you're new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Options Center logo and subscribe, and don't forget to like the video. It helps out getting these algorithms moving and shaking so we can get this videos out to everybody else. So looking at on the monthly time frame, if we go way back, we're looking at 2009. We have a flat pattern here, so this is possibly going a one into a two, and then we're ending off wave three. That's how I have it, a larger degree wave three, and we suspect that if we get a wave four here, that we should come down to the 3200 area, possibly even lower for a 1-2 setup from this Corona crash and spike up. So there's a couple different scenarios here that say we fall further. Now, with that said, if the degrees are moved a little bit lower, or I should say higher, and this wave three is actually up here, then it's possible that we're already done with wave four and that we start going higher. And in the bullish scenarios, I've done this in the past, where we're probably working on an ending diagonal at this point for a 5-wave move up to get new highs at this point. That's still a possibility, seeing how, look at, we made this big dip here in 2008. We haven't seen anything like that since. Ever since that time frame, we've come off of the 50 area on the RSI. We've never even gotten below on the 0 range in the MACD since then as well. So that's just bullish territory. And if this, if we do make all-time highs, we are likely to make a lower high in the RSI and a lower high in the MACD. So that's what we're talking about, where momentum should be waning a bit. So that's what we're looking at in this longer time frame. And we're in that zone right now where we're gonna be pulling back, and there's gonna be a certain area to look out for on these pullbacks to see what is happening. So if we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave ending up here in this ascending triangle, we broke down from that wave, and we're pushing off of a channel bottom. It's actually the mid channel. The bottom of the channel would be at the bottom of this wave 4 here. And then we're having a pullback now, and I would say the most crucial area, I don't think we're going to go straight into this spot from here, but the most crucial area, and let's go ahead and move this over a bit. Let's bring it over to the September time range. And this was, you can look at this in many different ways as an ascending triangle, and this is breaking out. Well, I think we're going to tag back to retest that breakout area, whether you call it an ascending triangle or whatever the case is. This is a big zone where around the 4,200 area, just below at the 4,100 as well. If we look at SPX, it's actually something that we talked about many times. So if I get out of this, I'll just go to the default frame, because that shows we looked at it over and over, and we're saying, hey, we get above here, we start being bullish. Well, that's true. We're above all the moving averages. We broke out, and now the retest is going to happen. So these arrows show this whole point where we had consolidation. There's all sorts of consolidation there. It's even better on the daily time frame, to where you could see all of this price action being held, and then finally got above it. So I do believe that we're going to start to retest that zone, and if we break below it, then I think this whole move is over and we go back into the bearish territory. But for now, we are in bullish territory, and if we hold that zone and we go much higher at this point, if you consider this wave done, then I think we continue to move higher if we hold this zone. Okay, let's go back to ES. And we'll go back to this weekly time frame. All right. right. So anything else? We're bullish on the MACD. We broke out from that downtrend area. All this looking bullish. You see this bearish flag that we were talking about broke out from there as well. So, you know, a lot of things are pointing to the bullish side. We do have a resistance zone here that we're keeping an eye out. You know, that's not divergence from right here. That's just, I'm extending that, and it's a downtrend line. So we're looking at some sort of resistance at this point. And so again, we're looking for the pullback. And yeah, we'll be looking at the zone. So it looks like we had the volume kind of rising as we were moving to the upside. So that's bullish what's the word? Word confirmation. And you know, we had the spike here in volume, it looks like, with the options expiration on that week, and also a reversal signal. So that could be a peak there for the moment. And then we're not, we got that inside Harami candle, so it doesn't look like much volume in there. And it was a short week anyway. So we're looking for continuation to the downside if this is to happen. With this Harami move, we're breaking to the downside. If we close this week underneath, then that's a confirmation of this reversal pattern. So that's something else to look for. So obviously you can tell in my tone of voice that I'm not convinced that this is a real big bull run, that we're going off to the races, and this is a new bull market or wave 5 in there. It's very possible. You know, I've been fighting the trend for quite some time. Not really with, you know, with some of my trades, yes, but most of my analysis has been more bearish than what has happened, and so that is an issue. But right now we're looking at seeing what happens next, and hopefully we get some of these bear trades out, and we're actually looking bullish in the micro term for a bounce before much lower prices. But we're getting this crossover in the MACD and the daily time frame, which is a bear sell signal. We need it to happen in the price action, even though if we pull back just a little bit already. Let's take a look a little closer. So we're underneath the 8 EMA, which is not a that's not a bullish sign there. You know, that's very bearish. But I do suspect that we get a little bounce here. We don't have to get a little bounce before heading down lower. I feel that this is the first impulse wave to the downside, and we're going to see. But it looks like price might want to retest the 20 moving average, and that's also this gap area. So we'll have to see if we get follow through to the downside tomorrow. But like I said, we did take a couple call plays overnight with the catalysts happening. If you go to, I use this economic calendar here, us.econoday.com. It kind of lets you know the major, especially with the red stars, the major market movers that happen. We have durable goods tomorrow, consumer confidence, new home sales, and then Jerome is the most important one this week on Wednesday, and we get all sorts of other data coming out. So all week we have something going on, and we're so data dependent on in this time frame. You know, going down when the market was heading downwards, we didn't look at much data specifically, but now we're completely in data dependency. So those are all important catalysts coming up every single day, it seems like. Right now, in the micro term, the trend is down. Let's look at the 65 minutes, see if we can kind of see anything else that's happening. So what am I trying to say? Is the market bullish or bearish? Okay, well, it's obviously been bullish. I do believe it possibly with this wave count that these are 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we have 3, 4, 5, and this is a wave 4 and one more 5 up here. That's very possible. And then there's ways that I can count it to where this move is finished, because this is not when you have Elliott wave impulse waves and you're looking for 5 waves to finish off, then this third wave can't be the smallest. And I measured this wave 1 to this wave 3, and the wave 1 is smaller, so technically this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to complete this move, and we can head lower after some sort of bounce. But we have this falling wedge right into support here, so I wanted to play that call play here, and we're slightly underneath it. I could, you could adjust things in certain different ways to see, to see if we're exactly on it. If we're looking at this from point to point, obviously we could just adjust it just a little bit to where it's barely touching, and we're right on. That would be it right there. So it's still touching everything, and we're right on support as we speak, and we have those catalysts tomorrow. And with this weekly range, I made this last week's range is in purple here. We're just underneath the bottom, so that could be bearish. But if we just spike through and come back up, that's actually a really bullish setup there, and we'd be looking for the top of the expected move for the week after the turnaround Tuesday possibility for 4440 on the ES. And we're looking at, if we pull back just a little bit, we have this bullish divergence. So that's what I was kind of keying in. Bullish divergence, falling wedge, support, trend support, and right at that support zone for the weekly time frame. So, weekly zone. So I just, this is a great setup in my mind to at least get a bounce. And that bounce we'd be looking for, again, into this 4440 zone. And this also coincides with, if we go to the Elliott wave picture, this coincides with the with the 62% retracement from the top to the bottom. So that could mean that this is our impulsive wave one. If this whole uptrend move is over, then this would be our first wave one down, and then we'd be looking for a retracement for wave two. So we will try some puts into that wave two. If we continue higher, then that would be that scenario where we get another high in. Now I don't think that we're going to get a new high in the NASDAQ. We already reached that 786 retracement from all-time highs, and I think that's it for the NASDAQ. In our bear scenario, we start getting on top of that, then we have a whole nother thing going on, and we're probably looking for much higher to go. Now, if we do get a new high here on this move, if this is a wave four pullback, then we should see the 786 right here, and also the 127 extension from this move down, and that should be the end up here for that move. So that's the scenario. Either one more move to the upside, or just a retracement, and we start heading lower from there. We got a lot of bulls out there on the Twitter feed. We got a lot of people that switch from bearish to bullish that I watch, and it's we're above all those MAs. I'm gonna pull the screen down here, and I'll show you all three what I look at during the day here. Let me just drag this down. And I kind of keep an eye on this, and those are the multiple time frames that I talk about. But if you look at this monthly, we're in that breakout mode. We're gonna have to see how this monthly candle ends. What if we have some sort of disaster and this candle does not hold up past this breakout zone? We only have a few days left in the month. I'm really looking into this. If we close above, especially the breakout zone, then there's much better chance for this to be a bullish run, and all this confirmation is starting to happen. We said a long time ago that the markets had been firming up after we broke out from that downtrend. We just started to firm up the bullish situation. Then we had a breakout. And so all these things are starting to point bullish, and you really can't fight that for too long. Unfortunately, my theory and with the Fed and all that, and I know markets are irrational, but all the theory says that we still have lower to go, and probably another 100% equality move from this possible wave one or A. We should have another 100% move to go lower down, to at least test this this wedge up here. I think we go back down to the point of control around